Hey everyone, it's Kenji. We're gonna make some brown butter mashed sweet potatoes or yams. So these are sweet potatoes, red sweet potatoes. I already put a little bit of oil on them because I was going to cook them before I decided to make a video, but I'll just show you again. I'm putting a little drizzle of oil. I get some salt and pepper. This is a very, very easy side dish. It takes a little bit of time, but almost all of it is hands off. So a little salt and pepper. This is the hands-on part. You get your hands on your sweet potatoes. Okay, you rub them all over. Oil, salt, and pepper. Give your hands a little rinse. And so I have a oven preheated, 325 degrees. It's actually my toaster oven, which I try to use as often as possible in lieu of my full oven, because it heats up faster. So oven preheated to 325 degrees. I'm just gonna stick this in here and we're gonna let them roast until they're completely tender. So that's gonna take about an hour and a half or so. And so our potatoes, our sweet potatoes, are cooked. So you wanna be able to take a cake tester or a toothpick or a knife, poke it through all the way, no resistance, you see? That's what we're looking for. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some butter. You can go a couple tablespoons if you want. You could go a full stick if you want. I'm going to do half a stick, 4 tablespoons. What is that in grams? In grams, that would be 1/8 of a pound, so like 60 grams of butter, something like that. Okay, we're going to let this start to melt. We want that to brown, all the milk solids in there to brown. So butter, if you don't know, it's mostly fat. Depending on where you get it, it's between around 81 to 83% fat. And then a couple of percentage points of milk solids, so that'll be proteins and sugars, and then the rest is water. And so when you make brown butter, essentially what you're doing is you're letting the butter break, so the fat and the water just separate. Once the water all boils away, and that's what the sort of foaming, the bubbling is when butter is cooking. Once all that water is boiled away, then you can start browning the milk sugars and milk proteins, and that's where the flavor of browned butter comes from. And I've been testing this theory I have, which is that virtually any recipe that calls for butter is better with browned butter. So far, I've not found an exception. All right, so you see I slit those sweet potatoes down the middle, and then I just peeled the skin back, and you saw how easily that flesh kind of came away, right? Get a little spoon. Excuse me, how easily the skin came away. I guess the flesh comes away from the skin, and the skin comes away from the flesh. One can't come away without the other also coming away, right? It's like the noise of one hand clapping or something like that. Whew, this is still pretty hot. You can, of course, let this cool down completely and just reheat it the next day if you don't want to have to peel hot potatoes. Or you can use gloves. You know, you can use those thick black nitrile gloves that the YouTube chef bros use, or the TikTok chef bros use. Those will protect your hands. All right. So when butter, that's good. When butter is melting like this, if you swirl the pan around, you know, if you just let it sit, what happens is water builds up on the bottom and kind of superheats, and then it suddenly pops up, and that's how you get like sort of splatters of butter. If you swirl the pan while that water is cooking out, you make it much easier for the water to escape, for the steam to escape, and so you end up not with fewer splatters and without, you know, hot butter popping into your eye or getting onto your stovetop. All right, so you can see the butter solids are, the water's mostly evaporated. The bubbling is subsiding to a degree, and now you can smell. Well, you can't smell, but I can smell the brown butter solids getting this kind of really nice nutty aroma. And when they're hazelnut color, you know, what the French call beurre noisette, That's what we're looking for. You could also let it go darker, you know, if you want really dark brown butter, but I think around here is good, kind of a golden color. Now we're just going to put our potatoes right in, lower the heat, and give it some mashing with a whisk. Now, regular potatoes you could not put in like a food processor. I mean, you could, but what happens is with regular potatoes, if you put them in a food processor, they turn really gummy because they're so starchy, and the food processor kind of breaks those starch molecules and releases the starch granules that turn the potatoes really sort of gummy and gluey. Sweet potatoes don't have that effect, so you can put if you want a really, really smooth mashed sweet potato, you can put the sweet potatoes in like a food processor. It'll come up fine, but I don't mind having them a little bit chunky like this. So only a couple more ingredients to put in there. I'm gonna add a dash of maple syrup. You could also do like honey, brown sugar, or no sweetener at all. I just like the flavor of maple and sweet potato together. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of, not thyme, a little bit of milk. You could also add cream if you want them extra creamy. A little milk will do it for me. All right, then we'll just season it up with a little bit of salt. Some of you might be asking why I salted the outside of the potatoes before I roasted them, and to you I say that's a good question. I probably didn't need to. It's just kind of a habit. That is a great side dish. We're gonna have these with pork chops. Nice. All right, I'm on. Help yourself. All right, everyone. Mashed sweet potatoes. Very simple. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.